Now that we have successfully purchased our reseller hosting, set up our name servers, and activated SSL on both Namecheap and cPanel, the next big step is WHM. This is where the real hosting business setup begins. Everything we have done so far was preparing the foundation. WHM is where we actually start building. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to WHM, Web Host Manager. I will explain what it is, what it can do, and walk you through the most important sections you need to understand as a beginner. We will move on to creating our first hosting packages in WHM. WHM stands for Web Host Manager. Think of WHM as the control center for your hosting business. While cPanel is used by your customers to manage their websites, WHM, on the other hand, is used by you, the hosting provider. In simple terms, cPanel is for your website owners and WHM is for the hosting company. One important thing to understand early is this: you do not build websites in WHM. Instead, you use WHM to create and manage hosting accounts. Each hosting account automatically comes with a cPanel access. Your clients can then use cPanel to manage their websites. So the relationship looks like this: WHM creates and controls cPanel accounts. Once you understand this relationship, everything else becomes much easier. Now, right inside WHM dashboard, this is where you control everything related to your hosting business. From here, you can create and manage hosting accounts, create hosting packages, control server resources, manage domains, DNS and security, and also monitor usage and performance. Your customers will never see this area. Now, let's switch to cPanel. This is what your customers see when they log into their hosting account. And this is where they will upload website files, create email accounts, manage databases, install applications like WordPress. This is where websites actually live. WHM stays with you and cPanel goes to the client. Let's bring this together with a simple example. Back in WHM, when you create a new hosting account, you assign a domain and select a hosting package. We will create hosting packages later. Once that account is created, the customer receives access to cPanel. They never need to touch WHM. They only work inside cPanel. When you first open WHM, looking at the interface, it can feel overwhelming, and that is completely normal. It's your first time looking at this application. The important thing to remember is this: as a beginner, you only need to focus on a few key sections. Now, the first one is account functions. This is where you create new hosting accounts, manage existing customers, or even suspend and unsuspend accounts. The second important section is packages. Packages define the disk space, bandwidth, email limits, and database limits. In simple terms, packages are the hosting plans you sell. Now that you understand what WHM is and how it works with cPanel, the next step is creating hosting packages. Hosting packages allow you to control how much resources each customer gets. And that's why you assign database limits and email limits. Create different plans and pricing, and run your hosting business professionally. In the next section, I will walk you through creating hosting packages step by step, and I will explain every option in simple terms. If this video is helping you so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are following the full reseller hosting series, let's continue to the next part. Now that we understand what WHM is and how it works with cPanel, it is time to create our hosting packages. Hosting packages define the exact limit and features a customer gets when they buy hosting from us, or that is from you. We will create 3 plans: starter, business, and enterprise plan. I will go through every required field in the same order you see on your screen, and explain what each one means. From the left menu, I will go to Packages, then click on Add a Package. Now, let's start with the starter plan. This plan is designed for small websites, blogs, and simple business sites. For the disk space, this will define how much storage the customer has for website files, images, and emails. So for the starter plan, I will set this to 10,000 megabytes, which equals 10 gigabytes of storage. Now for the bandwidth, monthly bandwidth, which will determine how much data can be transferred when people visit the website, I will set that to 50,000 megabytes, which equals 50 gigabytes per month. For our max FTP account, which controls how many users can upload files directly to the website, I will allow 2 FTP accounts for basic file access. Now let's move on to max email accounts. This is how many email addresses the customer can create. I will set this to 5 email accounts, which is enough for a small business. So they can create emails like info@theirspecificdomain.com. For the max mailing list, this is usually used for newsletters and announcements. I will set this to 2 mailing lists, which covers basic email campaigns. Let's look at our maximum SQL databases. Databases are required for WordPress and other dynamic websites. I will set this to 5 databases, which is more than enough for a single website. Let's take a look at the maximum subdomains. Now, subdomains allow additional sections like blog at their specific domains or shop at the person's domain. I will set this to 5 subdomains for basic site expansion. For the max packed domains, I will allow 1 packed domain for a brand protection. For add-ons domains, add-on domains allow hosting completely separate website under 1 account. So for starter, I will set this to 0, keeping it strictly 1 website. Let's take a look at the max passenger application. Passenger applications are used for Node.js or Ruby applications. Starter plans don't need this, so I'll set it to 0. Now let's look at our max quota per email address. This will control how much storage each email inbox can use. I will set this to 1000 megabytes, which is 1 gigabyte per email account. Now let's look at the max team users with roles. Team users allow multiple people to manage the hosting account with different permissions. For starter, I will allow 2 team users for basic collaborations. Now, once you are done with all these settings and assigning all the values, make sure you are not giving any unlimited access to any of these sections for the starter. Next, save the starter package. Now we will repeat the same steps for the rest of the plans once the first plan has been saved. Now let's move on to the next package, which is the business plan. This plan is designed for growing businesses and multiple websites. So I will set the disk space to 30,000 megabytes, which is 30 gigabytes of storage for larger websites and media. For their monthly bandwidth, I will set bandwidth to 150,000 megabytes, which gives them 150 gigabytes per month to handle higher traffic. I will also allow 5 FTP accounts, which works well for teams and developers. For their maximum email account, I will set this to 20 email accounts, which should be suitable for business teams. For our maximum mailing list, I will allow 10 mailing lists for marketing and customer communication. Let's take a look at the max SQL databases. I will set this to 20 databases supporting multiple websites and applications. For maximum subdomains, I will allow up to 20 subdomains for structured business sites. For our max pack domains, I will set this to 5 pack domains for brands and domain management. Let's look at our max add-on domains. I will allow 5 add-on domains, meaning up to 5 separate websites on one account. Maximum passenger application. I will allow 2 passenger application which supports basic Node.js usage. Now let's look at our max quota per email address. I will set email storage to 2000 megabytes per inbox, which will give them 2 gigabytes each. For the maximum team users with roles, I will allow 4 team users, making this ideal for business collaboration. I will now save the business package. Now that we are done with the business package, the next plan we are going to look at is our enterprise plan. Now, this will require even higher resources. So even if we end the video at this state, you should be able to apply what we have learned from the very first 2 plans to the next plan, so that we don't lengthen this video. But let's just go through it. This plan is built for agencies, organizations, and high traffic projects. So I will set the disk space to 100,000 megabytes, which gives them 100 gigabytes of storage for heavy workloads. Monthly bandwidth limits. I will set this to 500,000 megabytes or 500 gigabytes per month for higher traffic websites. Max FTP accounts. Let's allow 10 FTP accounts supporting large teams. For our max email accounts, I'll set this to 50 email accounts, ideal for organizations. For the max mailing list, let's just go ahead and set this to 25 mailing lists. Now, let's move on to our maximum SQL databases. And let's set this to 50 databases that can support complex systems. Now, make sure you are assigning these values based on the plan you choose with Namecheap, because it's very important. These things must correlate, because you don't assign resources that your server cannot handle. For our maximum subdomains, I'll assign 50 subdomains. Let's take a look at the max pack domains and assign 10 pack domains for our brand coverage. For max add-on domains, I will allow 10 add-on domains, and which should be ideal for agencies managing many sites. Add 5 passenger applications for advanced server-side apps. And for your max quota per email address, let's assign 5,000 megabytes per account, which should give them 5 gigabytes each. For the maximum team users, let's assign them the maximum teams allowed by our WHM, which is 7, for full collaborations across departments. I will now save the enterprise package, and all 3 hosting plans are fully configured and ready to use. Now that we are done with our hosting plans, you can easily check your hosting plans in WHM. The next thing is we will install WHM CS, and once we are done with WHM CS, we will connect that of WHM with that of our WHM CS, and we will learn how to automate a lot of these processes in WHM CS and create our hosting account automatically using WHM CS.